Hello dear students, once again welcome back to Bosco Campus Vision YouTube channel of Kottayam Don Bosco College. Myself Raniyar, Assistant Professor PG Department of English. In this series I am discussing the paper 20th Century Malayalam Literature and English Translation, which is the core paper for BA English Semester 3 students under Kerala University. In this class we are discussing the second part of the poem A Requiem to Mother Earth. So let's continue. In the last class, we discussed first 6 stanzas of the poem A Requiem to Mother Earth. Today in this class, let's continue the poem. Before that, I would like to remind you about the poem. This poem was originally composed in Malayalam under the title Bhumikku Oru Charamagidam. It is written by ONV Kurup. This poem is taken from his 1984 collection. And here, this poem is translated by S. Velayudhan, and it is an outcry to protect environment. So now let's continue the poem. It is the 7th stanza. So in the 7th stanza it begins like this: Mother, the first ecstasy on my tongue with your herb and honey, the last drop of water that soothes even as the flame of my life is snuffed off. In the last class, in this stanza, some of the portions of this stanza we had covered in the last class, and in that it is said that your sweet memories, that is the nature's sweet memories remain in the poet, and that is why he calls, my dear mother, it is you who gave me shape and life. It is you. The earth gave him life and shape. And here he says, you are the first ecstasy on my tongue. So, mother, the first ecstasy on my tongue with your herb and honey. So here the poet says, the earth is the first ecstasy on his tongue with your herb and honey. With your herb and honey. Here the poet suggests, in Kerala's culture it is customary that at the time of the birth of a baby, they used to give, the parents or the nearest relative used to give Thenum Vayambam. And here he says that you are the first ecstasy on my tongue with your herb and honey, and the last drop of water that soothes even as the flame of my life is snuffed out. And at the time of the death, in Kerala, the relatives of the dying person used to give water to him. So here the poet says that during the time of death and birth, during the time of birth and death, death and life. So in all stages of life, earth is with us. Okay, so that is the explanation of the stanza 7. Let's move on. Stanza 8. I have always marveled at your magic of capturing an infant sun in a dewdrop on the blades of Karuga that spring from you. My lustful fantasies have grazed each day in the shade of trees that line you. Like prophets of yore, the winds trod upon your seas. And here he says, the poet begins this stanza by quoting his amusement on the magical happenings around him. And this magic occurs as part of nature. So here the poet wondered to see the magic of nature. That is, the poet here make a morning image that we often see. In the early morning, the dewdrops on the blades of Karuga grass captures the rising sun. So this scene, we are all used to see this scene in the early morning. Here he says, in the early morning, the dewdrops on the blades of Karuga grass captures the rising sun. So the term Karuga grass, Karuga is a type of grass. It is the one among the plants. It is a type of plant and one among the Dasha Pushpam. Okay, so here he presents a beautiful imagery. In the early morning, the dewdrops on the blades of Karuga grass captures the rising sun. And he also says that line you, like prophets of yore, the winds trod upon your seas. And here he again described his fantasy. He says his extreme desire fulfilled by seeing the magic around him like prophets of earlier time in the wind who walked above sea. So in the shade of trees that line you, like prophets of yore, the wind strode upon your seas. So that is his lustful fantasies. So what was his lustful fantasies? He again described that fantasy, and he says his extreme desire fulfilled by seeing the magic around him, like prophets of earlier time in the wind who walked above the seas. So that is the explanation of the stanza 8. Let's move on to the next stanza. The next stanza is, Mother, I see you in myriad forms, how you remain awake with cradle and lullabies. For thousands of tender fruits, how you swing in thousands of orchard, and leap on the tips of the leaves of the banyan tree. How you beckon with hands like 5-petaled flowers, and cuckoo like the temple doves. How you set the rhythm for the happiness of my soul, like the waves in streams of thousands. How you deck the verdant puvaga, ilanyi or konna trees in full bloom. How you startle me as the screeching owl and soothe me as the cuckoo's song. How you array a myriad hues in the tiny box to catch figures in the recesses of the mind. How you dip dust in gold, and how you disappear with the eventude into the woods and return with the dawn on your shoulders. How you wake me up and feed me on nectar. How from the heart of the dense forest you craft poem from the self of birds. How you carry me ever so gently, like the lotus leaf does a drop of water. I know all this you fill in me, O Mother. So this is such a long stanza, and it begins like, Mother, I see you in myriad forms. Here the poet says, O Mother, I often see you in happy moods. And here he says, how you remain awake with cradle and lullabies for thousands of tender fruits, how you swing in thousands of orchards and leap on the tips of the leaves of banyan tree. And here, you always remain awake with cradles and lullabies. And that means you always take care your tender fruits. That is, here the tender fruits refers your children. We are all the children of earth. So your children, here the poet suggests the children. That means the progeny of trees. So this earth carry many trees. So that is why he says that you always take care your tender fruits, that is your children. Human beings are the progeny of Mother Earth. So nature's children are trees. Like human beings are the progeny of Mother Earth. And again here he says, how you swing your fruits in thousands of orchards. How you sing your fruits in thousands of orchards. When wind blows, the fruits may sway. And again he says, and leap on the tips of the leaves of the banyan tree. And leap on the tips of the leaves of banyan tree. And when he sees a 5-petaled flower which sways in wind, it feels like that flower invite him to sense its beauty. That is what here he says. How you beckon with hands, how you call with hands like 5-petaled flowers, and cool like the temple doves. Here refer the sounds of nature, maybe the sounds of the birds, sounds of nature, refer sounds of nature, and cuckoo or coo like temple doves. So the sounds from nature, it is like coo from temple doves. And again he says that how you set the rhythm for the happiness of my soul, like the waves in streams of thousands. these all sounds feel happiness in his soul like the thousands of waves in streams, and all these are the magic of nature. So again what he says, like the waves, so waves in streams of thousands, how you set the rhythm for the happiness of my soul. So all these magical moments make happiness to the poet's soul. And again he says, how you deck the verdant Puvaga, Ilanyi or Konna trees in full bloom. You startle me as a screeching owl and soothe me as the cuckoo's song. So sometimes how the earth decorate the greenery or vegetation of Puvaga, Ilanyi or Konna. Sometimes how you terrify me with a screeching owl. The poet maybe said that how you terrify me with a screeching owl, sound of owl, and soothe me as the cuckoo's song. And he again says, how you array a myriad hues in a tiny box to etch figures in the recesses of the mind. And here he says, again what he says, how you gather all these myriad hues in a tiny box. Here tiny box suggests the earth. So how can you gather all these magical hues in a tiny box of earth? And by seeing all these magical sights or memories came as figures in his mind. That is what he said, to etch figures. So one by one he can make memories, to etch figures in the recesses of the mind. And let's continue. How you dip dust in gold and how you disappear with the eventide into the woods and return with the dawn. And what he says is, how you spread golden color in the evening. So it is quite common seen that in the evenings, even in the evening time, our earth is covered with golden color. So how you spread golden color in the evening time and disappear when darkness come, and that color disappear when darkness come and return the dawn. And on the next morning it came back, okay, in the form of light. So how you dip dusk in gold, how you disappear with the eventude in the woods and return with the dawn on your shoulders, and you bring us various things. You, my dear Mother Earth, you bring us various things. And how you wake me up and feed me on nectar. How from the heart of the dense forest you craft poems from the self of birds. How you carry me ever so gently like the lotus does a drop of water. I know all this. You fill in me, O Mother. So here the poet for the song of birds. He says that it is the earth crafts songs and send us through the medium of birds. So like a lotus leaf carry a drop of water, the earth carry our poet. So it is a beautiful imagery is presented here. And here again ONV says he know all these things around him is filled by Mother Earth. So I know all this, you fill in me, O Mother. So here ONV Kurup, he is very much thankful to earth because all these gifts it had gifted by her, by his Mother Earth. Let's continue. Next stanza. What remains immortal in me are your memories, O swan who holds music in your wings. The warm truth blazes that my glory shines forth, if only for a moment, from the tips of your beauteous wings. Let that be damned, the crow of death beaked, even the nectar of your truth. So here the poet ONV Kurup talks about the memories of nature that never die. It is the memories make him immortal. So what makes him immortal? What remains immortal in me are your memories. So your memories make me immortal. Then, O swan who holds music in your wings, the warm truth blazes that my glory shines forth, if only for a moment, from the tip of your beauteous wings. And he says his beauty radiates out of the beautiful wings of the swan. His beauty is conveyed through nature. And by even though he says all this, let that be damned, the crow of death beaked, even the nectar of your truth. So even though he says all this, what he also would like to say, let that be damned, the crow of death beaked, even the nectar of your truth. That his beauty is conveyed through the nature, and but the crow of death, maybe the reference is in Kerala's Belikaka. So the crow of death beaked, it is present as a truth. So even though all these things gifted by earth, but it is the time for the death of this earth. So it is the sound, the crow of death beaked, it is present as a truth. So here all in these stanzas, what ONV is trying to say is man is earth and earth is man. These two are interdependent each other. So that is the explanation of the 10th stanza. Next stanza. As you trudge along the solar highway, an outcast with tonsured head, shouldering the bundle of your shame, weighed down with the sin of having borne children who turned mother ravishers, does in cruel death creep through your veins. So in this stanza, here ONV refers to the galaxy. So as you trudge along the solar highway may be the galaxy. So as you trudge along the solar highway, an outcast with tonsured head. So how you trudge through that way? An outcast, she is like an outcast with tonsured head. Tonsured head means bald head, the head without hair. So outcast with tonsured head, shouldering the bundle of your shame. So what does she shoulder? The bundle of shame, weighed down with sin. So the earth treads along the solar highway as an outcast with tonsured head, shouldering the bundle of shame. So, and he says of having born, what was the sin she committed? Of having born children who turned mother ravishers, does in cruel death creep through your veins? So it is due to the sin she committed, gave birth. What was the sin she committed? Gave birth children who became mother ravishers. The children who continuously assaulting mother. So this. With all this sins, she is slowly walking through the solar highway. And what ONV again says, does in cruel death creep through your veins. So does in cruel death creep through the veins of Mother Earth instead of blood. So here ONV is asking a question, does in the cruel death creep through the veins of Mother Earth? So what creeps through the vein of Mother Earth? It is cruel death instead of blood. We are moving to the conclusion of the poem. So the last stanza, Mother Earth, not yet dead, this is a requiem to you. This song I inscribe in my heart today is a requiem to you and to me. I won't be here to moisten your dead lips with my tears, to mourn your death. Therefore, I inscribe as much here, O Mother Earth, not yet dead, in the imminence of your death, may your soul rest in peace, in eternal peace. So, towards the end of the poem, towards the conclusion of the poem, ONV says, Mother Earth not yet dead. Maybe he warned us, or maybe he himself addressing the earth. Mother Earth not yet dead. So maybe he warned us. Our Mother Earth is not yet dead, or otherwise maybe he called the earth. So Mother Earth not yet dead. This is a requiem to you. This is a requiem to you. This is a song of mourning to you. After your death, I won't be here. So the song I inscribe in my heart today is a requiem to you and to me. It is not only to you, but for me. And I won't be here to moisten your dead lips with my tears to mourn your death. So this is a song of mourning to you and to me, and after your death I won't be here. So that is why I inscribe. Therefore, I inscribe as much here, O Mother Earth, not yet dead. In the imminence of your death, may your soul rest in peace, in eternal peace. So I won't be here. So that is why I inscribe it as a requiem, and I won't be here anymore to moisten your dead lips with my tears. And when she dies, we too perish. So I would like to write a poem. And what is the poem? In the imminence of your death, may your soul rest in peace, in eternal peace. So here again ONV is reminding us, if earth dies, what will happen? We too perish. So that is the poem. When we analyze critically the poem is a wake-up call for humanity, and it is an outcry to protect environment. And it also reminds us the need of a symbolic relation between man and nature. Through this poem, ONV reminds us the need for protecting our nature. And here the poet mourns deeply for the impending death of our beloved Mother Earth through this poem. So he pens a funeral song for her in advance. Here he definitely knows that if earth dies, we are all the human beings to perish. And here the poet paints an unforgettable image of what the human race has done to Mother Earth, and shame that we all have to live with. And here the poet says, if earth die, we too perish. If we continue with self-destructive spell of exploitation and abuse this one and only abode of ours. So this is our one and only abode. So what is the earth? So it is our duty to protect our nature. Okay, dear students, I hope you understood the poem. Please go through the poem thoroughly, read several times, and send me the assignments. See you in the next class. Have a nice time.